You'll need a block and a strap for this morning's practice. We're going to do a little sort of a few twists and stuff. Getting into that a little more. Okay, let me mute you guys and we'll get going. Hi, Lucy. It's a lovely close-up of your big smile. We're going to start lying down, actually, which will be nice. So lie down on your mats. Have your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, unless you'd prefer maybe Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together if your hips are available for that. Otherwise, just a nice grounded, reclined position. Arms to the side of the body. Close your eyes. When you lie here with your eyes closed, just really let yourself feel the earth beneath you. So really become conscious of the areas that your body touches the floor of the mat. What that feels like. What it feels like to press down, but also to receive the energy back up. And then start to really slow your breath down, maybe even noticing the way that the back ribs inflate and expand a little bit and press more into the floor. You can actually direct your breath into the back body. Notice your exhales allowing for softness around the neck, around the jaw, around areas of the body that you habitually grip and you might not even be conscious of. Maybe it's your shoulders. Maybe your bum. Some of us grip our bums quite a lot without realizing it. So Dr. Chatterjee, who I know a lot of you follow, listen to, he did a post, I think it might have been on Sunday, and the title of the post was, "Who are you?" I thought it was just brilliant, right? This question, which, you know, we very rarely get asked. But it's interesting because my first reaction when people say that to me is I start to list a whole load of things in my life which I've either achieved or which I obviously gain a certain sense of, value from, right? So this is what we do. We say things like, I'm married, I've got children, I have this job, I've achieved this in my life, I used to do this, I am now doing this. And all of those things are valid, but it's really interesting how we feel an immediate sense of having to kind of almost justify what we are. And his point was that we often find connection and value in external things, which we do a lot. And the point of your practice, the hour that you give yourself on your yoga mat, is to turn your attention inwards, however uncomfortable that might be. And just take a really good feel around into yourself. What are your real core values? What really floats your boat? What path would you love to be walking on that you may not be on? Now, these are big philosophical questions sometimes. But every now and then we need to remind ourselves of the journey and that we are the participant in the journey, and we need to be really authentically truthful with ourselves about what we want. And it's really tough. And on that huge kind of big note, I want you to take some breaths in. I want you to breathe that feeling right into your heart center. That sense of, who are you? Maybe it's just, who are you right now on your mat? How are you feeling? Without the stories, without what other people think about you. Who are you? How much amazingness is there right here in your body, in your mind, in your soul right now? And it is there. Place your hands on your side ribs and feel your breath. So take an inhale, spread your ribs into your hands, feel them, the press of the ribs, and then hold your breath when you're full up. So let's do Shivananda. Inhale, hold the breath. Hold the breath for as long as is interesting. And then exhale out, let the ribs deflate. Actually feel it happening. Your breath that you're tracking. Do that 2 more times. Do your own inhale, your own hold, your own exhale. Just really explore what's available this morning. Sometimes it feels good to hold the breath for longer. Sometimes we don't like the sensation. It feels like we're choking. We haven't got that capacity. Listen to yourself. And then actually, let's just do one more where you really feel for your edges now. So you really feel where you could go, what might be possible. Maybe that means you slow it down more, maybe you inflate a little more, maybe you hold for a shorter or longer period. And then open your mouth and sigh it out. Amazing. Okay, before we move off our backs, let's do a nice little twist. Straighten both your legs and have them down the mat. Now draw your left knee in towards your chest, hug it with both hands, and actually manipulate so that you draw your left knee a little more towards the armpit. So you feel the front edge of the hip socket, get a little stretch. And then gently place your right hand to the outside edge of your left knee. Extend your left arm to the side of the body and roll your whole left thigh across you. So you're in a one-legged twist with a bent knee. It's quite an intense opener. I just want you to find your breath and track it through the upper left rib cage. And as you exhale, let your left shoulder blades soften to the mat. Really notice the kind of cranking out almost that twists offer up. It's like they rinse you out, like you're rinsing out a kind of wet piece of cloth. Take a breath right into that. And then slowly on an inhale, help yourself bring that left knee back to center and extend the leg down the mat. Draw your right knee to chest, hug it in tight. Feel like you draw it close to your armpit and you feel as you lengthen your left leg, a hip opener, the beginnings of a hip kind of release. Left hand to outside edge of right knee, extend your right arm to the side of body and then roll your right thigh across you. Take it across yourself and then allow your right shoulder to move back towards the floor. It's probably not touching the floor, but I'd like you to breathe into upper right back ribs. Like a full breath. And particularly as you exhale, allow the upper right ribs on the back body to move towards the floor. So you're really encouraging that mid-upper thoracic twist. Open the mouth, side out, release your jaw. On an inhale, draw the right knee back. And bring both your feet to touch the mat, knees bent. Let's do some abdominals. Interlace your hands. Place your hands behind the base of your skull. And then wrap your elbows. So feel a little bit of lubrication around the armpits. Pick the elbows straight up to ceiling. Take a really big breath in. As you exhale, I just want you to lift your head and shoulders off the mat and pull your belly down. So it's like a half crunch almost. Lifting the tips of elbows to ceiling, pull belly down, and then inhale, gently release. Let's do 2 more of these. As you exhale, just wrap your shoulder blades, lift them up, but don't pull on your neck. Make your abdominals do all the work. Inhale, release. Exhale, lift shoulder blades off the mat, wrap your elbows, Feel your core super activate, lifting your chest a little higher. And then release, come all the way down. Pick both feet up off the floor, stacking knees over hips, have active feet. Take a big breath in, partially lift your head and shoulders. Hold your breath, flatten the low back completely. As you exhale, reach elbows to left thigh. Take the right leg straight up to ceiling, spread the toes, and lift your left shoulder blade off the mat, belly draws down. Inhale back to center, knees bent, stacked. Hold the breath, curl tailbone, flatten low back. Exhale, elbows to right thigh, take the left foot straight up to ceiling. Wrap and reach, right tip of elbow raises, pull your belly down. Inhale back to center, full breath. Hold the breath, curl tailbone. As you exhale, reach elbows to left thigh. This time extend your right leg 45 degrees. Classic elbow to knee. Reach out through the right thigh bone, squeeze the right buttock, belly pulls down. Inhale back to center, full breath. Hold the breath, curl tailbone, exhale, elbows to right thigh, left leg, 45-degree angle. Reach it away from you. Lift your right shoulder blade up, press belly down. Squeeze left buttock. Inhale back to center. Hold the breath, curl tailbone. As you exhale, reach elbows to left thigh. Right foot extends 45 degrees. Lift out of your armpits. Hold here, take an additional inhale, release the right hand, place fingertips of right hand to underside of buttock. As you exhale, squeeze your right glute, lift your left elbow, draw belly down. Sit bone grab. Inhale, back to center, everything stacked. Hold breath, curl tailbone, exhale, elbows to right thigh. Left leg extends, spread the toes. Lift right shoulder blade up, belly down. Take an additional inhale, release left hand, fingers to underside of glute. Squeeze it as you exhale and lift out of your right tip of elbow. Inhale back to center. Take the feet down, take the head and shoulders down. Put your hands on your low belly, take a feeling breath into your pelvic bowl. So just track the pathway of the breath. Sometimes after we've done abs, you get a real sensation of heat and energy in the low belly. I really hope you feel that. Just move your attention into that area and just feel how that energy ball almost can emanate outwards. Pick up your left foot and hook it on top of your right knee. So let's just do this figure of four. Press the left knee away from you. Bring your arms into goddess. Take a really big inhale. As you exhale, I'd like you to attempt to get your left solar foot to the right side of the floor, if that makes sense. So twist through the pelvis, lower your legs as a unit to the right, and get the sole of your left foot to touch the mat. So it's like you've just twisted the whole figure of four to the right. Take a breath. Take a breath into the left side of your waistline that's being opened up. And now slide your left arm directly above you, like you're trying to reach something that's way above your head on the floor. And breathe into your left side ribs. Full breath, full extension. Slide your left arm back into goddess. Press through your core. As a unit, lift your figure of four legs back up to where they started. Reach both arms through to grab the right thigh. Draw it towards your chest. Opening out the hip. Press your left knee away from you. Breathe. Feel for the piriformis, the outside edge of the left hip, stretching and opening, and allow that pathway to happen. Sometimes the work we do in the body, and I've been using this word a lot this week, is these permissive verbs: allow, let, persuade, negotiate, all these things. Doesn't have to be a battle. Release the right thigh. Take both feet back to the mat. Pick up your right foot, hook it on top of left knee. Pause for a moment, opening the right thigh away from you. Arms into goddess. As a complete unit, just roll your legs to the left so they stay in the shape they're in, and the right foot will eventually touch the floor. Start to press your breath into the right side of your waistline, hip side. Reach your right arm directly above you, feeling like you're trying to touch something way above your head. Full side body opening. Breaths in and out. Arm back into goddess shape. Engage core. Lift your whole legs as a unit back to center. You're in figure of four. Hands grab left thigh, draw it towards you. Soften your shoulders as you press your right knee away from the chest. Take a full breath into your low back area. Drawing the left knee towards you, feel for the outside edge of right hip opening up. And then release those legs and grab a cork block or a roll. I'm going to do gate opener, second set of abs. So bring the prop between the inner thighs and squeeze onto it. Lift both your legs straight up to ceiling, flaunt your feet. Your knees need to be a little bent because your hamstrings are tight, that's completely okay. Interlace hands behind the base of the head, wrap and reach your elbows. Take a full inhale. Hold your breath, squeeze your prop between the inner thighs. As you exhale, curl tailbone, lift your elbows straight up the center line, pressing soles of feet to ceiling. Take an inhale, left hand moves to the prop, straddle your legs wide, reach through the inner thigh line. Exhale, curl pubic bone to belly button, lift your right shoulder blade up, pull belly down. Inhale, legs squeeze back together onto the prop, hand behind the head. Hold your breath, squeeze prop a second time. Exhale, curl tailbone, lift elbows straight up the center line, belly draws down. Take a big inhale, right hand to the prop, push it down, straddle the legs wide. Reach the inner line of leg away from the hip. Exhale, curl pubic bone to belly button, reach again, thighs out to side of room. And then as you inhale, squeeze them back onto the prop, hand behind the head. Hold your breath, squeeze prop a second time, curl tailbone, exhale, lift your elbows straight up to ceiling. Last round. Inhale, release hand, place it on the block. That's your left hand, straddle the legs wide. Reaching the toes away as you exhale, curl pubic bone to belly button. Lift your right shoulder blade off the mat. Inhale, legs squeeze together, firmly on the prop, hand behind the head. Hold your breath, squeeze a second time, curl tailbone, lift and wrap elbows straight up to ceiling. Inhale, right hand to prop, straddle the legs wide. Push hand into prop, prop into pubic bone. As you exhale, curl, tailbone up, lift left shoulder blade, reach your inner thighs out of the hip sockets. Inhale, squeeze back onto prop, hand behind the head, hold your breath. Prop gets squeezed a second time, curl tailbone, lift your elbows straight up the center line, belly draws down. And then release everything. Feet to mat, head and shoulders to mat, prop away. Place both hands on the low belly, full breath. And then very gently draw your feet a little closer to the butt, arms to side of body, bridge pose. Press through active feet, undulate through the pelvis and lift your hips as high as they'll go. So really notice this, right? Really notice this counter pose to your abdominals, opening the front ribs, letting the belly button rise up to the ceiling. Track your breath, find the pathway it's taking and extend it. Feel a little squeeze underside of buttocks, a little more thigh activity. Keep your breath steady and take 3 more full breaths where you open yourself up. You open yourself up physically and you allow your clarity to kind of come to the forefront as to what you feel really in your body. And it might be intense, but look behind that. What does it feel like to be really connected to yourself? Not anything external. Last breath in. Draw and lift the ribs up. As you exhale, squeeze your glutes very slowly with control. Lower top back, mid back, low back, all the way to the floor. Amazing. Roll onto one side, it doesn't matter which, and press yourself up to seated. Cup the underside of your head, lift your own head up. Beautiful. Come and sit up in shoelace. So you might need a block, a cork block for this. Both legs extend. And then I'd like you to just grab hold of your right leg and have it in front of you, but move it away from your crotch. Then pick up your left leg and hook the edge of the foot onto the top of the knee. This is too much maybe, and you feel you're off center with your butt. Place a cork block in front of your right knee shin and put your left foot on it. So you've got a really open upside down triangle. Whatever version you're doing, feet are really flexed and they're pointing, obviously, it's like the flex bit is parallel to the short edge of mat. Take a really big inhale, arms extend. Twist your whole torso to the right. So you're sort of facing diagonally your left foot. And then float your hands down to frame the knees. Inhale, a little more length into belly. As you exhale, I'd like you to forward fold across towards your left foot. If you're more open, you might walk your hands around the side of your body so they're parallel to your right thigh. Take another breath in. And with the butt firmly placed on the mat, you might lean across, maybe even hooking your elbow into the base of your foot. But this is a really big hip opener, so go easy on yourself. The reason I'm doing such an intense kind of opening is there's something that happens in the intensity of these poses. If you stop getting kind of pissed off with it and actually take a breath, you can learn a lot from putting your body into these zones where struggle is just around the corner, but you don't go to it. Instead, you keep your kind of cool hat on and you just breathe more slowly and let the sensations wash through you. It sounds easy to say it, I know. Take an inhale, come all the way back up. Take your legs out in front of you. Have a little light relief as you shake them out. Let's do that on the other side. Pick up your left leg foot and place away from crotch. Pick up your right edge of foot, place it on the knee or on a block in front of the shin. Feet are flexed, very active, pressing downwards. Butt securely rooted. Inhale. Take that breath right up into the armpits. Twist and rotate to the left. Hands come down. They might frame that right foot, or you might walk a little further around, but maybe do it in stages. See where you get to. If you're falling forward folding, the level of forward fold can be really small. Sometimes it doesn't take much at all on the hinge forwards to feel the hip. Keep escalating the breath into little areas of the ribs and the lungs which are normally not paid attention to, the low lobes of the lungs, the back rib cage. Let the outside edge of your right hip stop competing with you. What actually happens if you let it go? What's the sensation? Strange. There's not the big disaster that you think is going to happen. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Take your legs out in front of you, give them a well-deserved shake. Actually come into straddle, so just do the complete reverse out. Feet are flexed, pressing backs of thighs to the mat. Take a long inhale. And maybe with a little sway side to side, just come forwards here. It's almost like you just give a little relief to the outside edge of your hips and buttocks. You don't have to come down very far. You work with what's available. Close your eyes for the next 2 breaths and feel a kind of tipping out of your sit bones behind you, like you're spreading your sacrum wide. And then a full exhale that feels like you slide into softness. Whatever version of that is available to you. Beautiful. Inhale, press yourself up. Soften your knees, hands to underside of the thighs, walk them together. Come up onto all fours. Grab a prop between your inner thighs. So that could be a block, or if you've got a proper roll, that might work too. Just be in tabletop for a minute. We're going to try and work turbo dog with a prop between the inner thighs. Quite interesting. Take your hands slightly forwards of your shoulders. Spread your fingers starfished on the mat. Let's do turbo puppy for a moment. Just bend your elbows, hover them, and wrap your elbows into the midline. Slightly squeeze your thighs onto the prop, and then inhale, lift and dome into upper back. Feel the pecs activate as you press your elbows together. Shake out the head. You can stay here if you're not feeling like doing anything a little more energetic today. And the prop makes it a little awkward, but this is what we're playing around with. Curl your toes, straighten your legs. Maybe walk the feet in a little more. Feel the grip of your inner thighs on the prop, lifting your tailbone. Super engage your wrapping shoulder blades around the sides of your ribs and feel lift through your core, like you scoop it up towards the underside of your ribs. Uddiyana Bandha. Take 3 more breaths. Really tough, I know. Explore it. Elbows draw together, don't let them flare out. And then slowly straighten your arms. Ooh, that's going to feel good. You're in down dog with a prop between the inner thighs. Feel for pressing through your feet a little more. And then very slowly lower your knees to the mat. Take the prop out from between your legs. Place it to the side of the mat. Let's do dolphin, moving into dolphin strut. Bring your forearms down to the mat. Grab a handful of biceps. So hold the top of your bicep, pivot on your elbows, forearms running along the edge of the mat. Take a full breath into upper back ribs. Remember the sensation of the prop between the inner thighs as you curl your toes and straighten your legs. Feel your inner thigh line liven up. To do dolphin strut, lots of stages. I'll talk you through them. Take your left foot slightly more to the edge of the mat and turn the toes out. So maybe you get the left heel a little flatter to mat. You can stay here. Press through your right forearm a lot. Option to take the left hand off the mat now and take it behind you and grab your left ankle or calf. When you get a hold, pull, brace the arm, lift the butt higher. Stay here or gently on an inhale, float the right leg up for dolphin strut with a leg lifted. Lift out of your right armpit, soften your jaw, scoop the belly. Slowly control it. Exhale, lower the right leg down. Release your left hand, bring it to the front of the mat. Come onto your knees for a pause. Kneeling up in Vajrasana. Just take your hands behind you, interlace, extend and lengthen so you feel this kind of brightening across your collarbones. And then release. Let's do the other side. Measure up, grab a handful of bicep, pivot the elbows, forearms down. Inhale, balloon into upper back ribs. Come into dolphin, take a breath. Don't squander the breath, make it bigger, more. Right foot walks to a little wider on the mat, maybe toes turn out. Can you get the heel down? It's a bit warrior one-ish. Press a lot through the left forearm. Feel that left armpit fire up. Release your right arm, maybe grabbing ankle. Could grab the thigh. Feel like you pull on the leg and lift the butt. Slow and steady inhale, left leg raises, dolphin strut with a leg lifted. Completely optional. Reach through the big toe of the left foot. Don't lose it in space. And then slowly lower the left leg down. Put your right forearm back on the mat. Knees come to mat and then come straight into down dog. Pedal out the feet in down dog. Feel like the backs of the legs get a little lubrication. Then let's come into spinny flex. Step your left foot forwards on the mat and turn yourself to face the long edge. So you're in straddle forward fold. Feet pigeoned, hang down the center line. This starts off feeling like flank stretch. So listen to my cues. Pick up your left hand and grab firmly the hand around the right calf or ankle. So you've gone across the underside of your body and holding onto your leg. Draw your left hip back, stick it to an imaginary flat wall. Pick your right hand off the floor and take it behind you in a half bind, either grabbing the waistband of your leggings or sliding the right hand into the nook of your left hip socket. Take an inhale, feel like the crown of the head reaches forwards. And as you exhale, rotate and twist your upper body towards the right side of the room. Let the head go. So you feel like you're drawing the right shoulder blade back behind you. As you pull on the right leg with your left hand, keep your hips square. Let the head go again. It gets very tense, that neck. And then gently de-rotate. Come all the way out. Hang down in forward fold. Let the neck soften. Flubber out the lips. Other side, right hand goes underside of body, grabs left ankle or calf. Draw the right hip back behind you. Pick up your left hand, take it into a half bind, sliding into leggings or nook of hip. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Almost reach forwards with the collarbones. As you exhale, twist to the left, drawing the left shoulder blade behind you, let your head hang. So there's something very interesting to look at to the left side of you. Big breaths in, feel the hips level off, press through active feet. Open your left shoulder a little more. De-rotate. Soften your knees, hands on the hips, press yourself all the way up to standing with a relaxed neck. Beautiful, heel toe your feet back together. Stand at the front of your mats. Let's do some suns with variations. You'll need possibly a block and maybe a strap later on in the practice. So maybe have them nearby. Notice breathing. Keep your breaths exactly where they need to be in your body, not somewhere floating around outside of you. If you need a bit of extra padding for your knees, place it across the center of the mat. Turn your music on. Let's just take a huge inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, deep forward fold, hang down. Lunge, left leg steps back, knee to mat. Telescope ribs as you reach your arms to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down, step back into plank, take a breath. Push into the floor with your hands, scoop your belly. Knees lower, chest lowers, modified chaturanga, don't rush it. Inhale, low cobra, scoop your front ribs forwards, lifting yourself up. As you exhale, down dog, hands under shoulders, step back. Lunge, left leg to front of mat, right knee down. Feel the top of your right foot and shin press into the floor as you lift up. Exhale, float to forward fold. Pressing through active feet, inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's go again, right side. Inhale, arms reach. Forward fold, hang down. Right leg lunges back, knee to mat. Take a full breath in. Feel reach out of the waistline. Exhale, plank, step back. Hands active, push into them, scoop the belly. As you exhale, your knees lower. Chest lowers, graze biceps to ribs. On your inhale, squeeze your buttocks a little bit as you draw shoulder blades together. Low cobra, exhale, down dog. Right leg lunges forward, left knee to mat. Take a full inhale here, extend upwards. Exhale, float to forward fold. Root to rise, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale, extend upwards. Forward fold. As you exhale, gently soften your jaw. Lunge, left leg back, knee to mat. Keep the left hand on the mat to inner edge of right foot. Sweep your right arm to ceiling, super easy twisting lunge. Let the head go, no drishti. Feel for reaching through the right fingertips as you draw the right shoulder blade behind you. So it's like it slides towards the mid-back. Press actively through the legs. Feel the top of your left shin in the mat. Can you actually lean away from your right thigh and feel like you create this kind of space in your body? Float the right hand down, frame the right foot, plank, step back. Take an additional inhale in plank. Lift your belly, tuck your tailbone. Knees lower, chest lowers, modified chaturanga. Low cobra, inhale. Feel for reaching length down the inner thigh line. Exhale, down dog. Left foot steps forward for low lunge. Keep the right hand on the mat. Super easy twisting, float left arm to ceiling. Spread your jazzy hands, let your head go. Press a little more through the left front foot and thigh, and also engage the right shin as you lean away from your left thigh, like a V shape. So your chest is moving away. Let the head go again, second time of releasing that neckline. Float the left hand down, forward fold, exhale out. Root to rise, come up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold, hang down. Let the back soften. Step your right foot behind you, do not lower the knee. You're in a high lunge position. Inhale, float up. Feet a good railway track distance apart. That's the width of them. Take a full breath here. Feel for tucking the right sit bone underneath you as you draw length into the right hip flexor. Let's do a full twist, a thoracic twist here. Take your arms T-shaped to the side of you. As you inhale, reach through your fingertips and turn your whole torso to the left. So it's like you're drawing the left arm behind you, but also reaching both of them forwards and away. It's a little awkward, right? Feels really tight around the left side of the ribs and the waist. Take your breath right there. And soften your left shoulder blade down. And then inhale, come all the way back to center. Hands frame the left foot. Plank, step back. Take a full breath in plank. Feel for lifting the belly, tucking the tailbone. As you exhale, knees lower, chest lowers, modified chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra, scoop it out. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot to front of mat, high lunge. Separate the feet, inhale, drive all the way up. Feel for pressing through the left front of thigh, extending the leg as you tuck your left buttock underneath you. Notice your breathing. Get back with it. Arms extend into T formation, big breath. As you exhale, rotate to the right, reaching your arms, not shrugging shoulders, sliding them down and extending out. Don't use your neck to kind of get further around the side. Look straight out of your chest with your gaze. Just become aware of that kind of grip in the right upper ribs. Take a breath into those intercostal muscles. De-rotate, hands frame the right foot, float to forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pause and breathe and take it all in. Just really get a sense of connecting into the kind of livening up of your own physical body. When you get a little warmer, a little hotter, it's like, you make new connections. Take a big breath in, lower the butt, come into chair pose. Hold your chair pose with determination to engage your buttocks. So feel like you grip the underside of your butt to your hamstrings. Let's do a twisting chair, hands at heart center, take another breath. As you exhale, twist your whole torso to the right, hook your left elbow on top of right thigh. Prayer hands, not near your armpit, you push them together so they move towards the center line. Let the head go. Option to butterfly open your arms, spreading them apart from each other. Keep your bottom low, weight in the heels, breathe. Feel like the thighs are really supporting you now, they're fired up. On an inhale, hands to prayer at center of chest, you're still in the middle. Exhale, twist to the left, put right elbow on top of left thigh. Pause, press prayer, hands together, roll your left chest open. Let the head go, no neck. Inhale, flower the arms open as an option, bracing on the left thigh, and lift your left fingertips a little higher. Let the head go again, second time in asking. And then inhale, come back to center, you're still in chair, take a breath, squeeze your butt, and then as you exhale, forward fold, straighten the legs. Oh, that feels good. Halfway lift, inhale, hands on the shins or floor, lengthen. Exhale, step or hop into plank. Take a breath in plank, engage core. As you exhale, full or modified chaturanga, yogi's choice. Inhale into low cobra or up dog, also your choice. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot to front of mat for warrior two, extended warrior. So take the left foot forwards, front foot 90 straight, back foot 90 degrees. You've got this beautiful warrior two position. Option to have the block to the inner edge of your left foot. So here are your options. You can either just rest the elbow on the thigh. If you want to go a little deeper, put your hand on the block, and it could be at a lower level, whatever works for you, but where you can brace and open your chest. Let the head go. Right arm extends to ceiling for chest opener. Put a micro bend in right elbow, and then draw very deliberately the right arm further behind you. As you let your head go, you'll get a neck stretch. And the stretch draws from the edge of your right ear right into the tip of your shoulder. Even in this pose, become aware of your delicious bottom cheeks. Engage them and feel like they pull underneath you to provide additional support. Knit your core into the midline. Feel like you scoop it in. And can you lean back into the pose? The sensation of opening into sort of forward-facing twists or reverse twists is this sense of freedom when you feel like there's no space. Release out of it. We're coming into Mancoon. So listen up, that's lizard pose. Walk your left foot a little wider on the mat. Place both hands to the inner edge of your left foot. Hop your right foot to right side of mat. You're on the ball of it. Take a full inhale here. Rather than scooping the belly in, lengthen your collarbones forwards and extend your ribs. Very slowly here, you might bend both elbows, and as a unit, lower the torso, head down in one long line. Press your left knee towards your left shoulder. There is an option for a bind here. Put a lot of extra kind of attention into the left foot. Take your left arm underneath the thigh and maybe place the left hand on your kind of top of buttock, sacrum. The right hand can come on top and bind. This is completely optional. Drive power through the legs. Feel for breathing big. Don't breathe small, it doesn't help. Whichever version you are in, both hands now come to the mat. Press into them, lift your left foot off the mat, step back into plank. Take a full breath, scoop the belly, tuck tailbone, knees lower, chest lowers, modified chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra, scoop it out. Feel for lengthening your legs away from the hips. Exhale, down dog. Take 3 breaths in down dog. Turbo dog is an option. You can soften the elbows, wrap them inwards. You don't have a prop between your inner thighs, but you could imagine it's there. A little more turn on of that inner thigh muscle as you lift your butt. Take the breaths where you need them. Straighten the arms. Step your right foot to front of mat. Extended warrior with chest opener. Block as an option on the floor to the inner edge of your foot. If you just want to have the knee, elbow on the knee, that also works. But this gives you a little more kind of space for opening across the chest line. Let the head go. There's a reach into your left fingertips. There's a softening down of shoulder blades, both of them, right? Just be aware of where they are. And then it's like you roll yourself open. You lean back into your pose because your legs are so supportive. You've got the softness to lean back. Everything from the waist down, doing all the heavy lifting. And if you can't feel your legs doing that kind of part in the pose, turn them on a little more. Work from the ground up, feet, shins, calves, thighs, glutes. Just notice them. Float the hand down. Both hands to inner edge of right foot. Walk the feet to edges of mat. Hop onto the ball of left foot. Mancoon lizard. Rather than letting yourself kind of pop up, inhale, lower the butt, puff your chest forwards. As you exhale, slowly, maybe bending the elbows, you come down in a long flat line. You can stay here, it's intense. Open around the hip, outer thigh. Option to bind the right arm underneath. Take the hand onto the butt. Maybe even daring to take the left hand off and clasp behind you. Keep lifting your collarbones forwards. Legs, now you can't avoid turning them on if you're doing this version. They need to support you. To come out of the pose, both hands come to the mat. Lift your right foot off the mat and take it behind you for plank. Inhale, scoop belly. As you exhale, knees lower, chest lowers, modified chaturanga. Low cobra, inhale. Exhale, down dog. Take 3 breaths in down dog. Really enjoy those breaths. Feel for that connection to your fingers, right? Grab a handful of the mat and then lower your knees and come to kneeling. A couple of options. Okay. Dolphin on the wall is an option. So if you have wall space and you want to do something on the wall, you come up, feet running up the skirting boards, dolphin arms. They can either be forearms flat or interlace of hands. And you will pick your foot up, both of them rather, to hip level, straightening, scoop the belly, Take 3 to 5 breaths here, and then option to raise leg or split it open also for 3 to 5 breaths. So those are options. If you don't want to do that, you can just do dolphin on your mat with a leg lifted for 5 to 8 breaths. Have a little go, get yourself inverted and feel you can still be in your body even though you go upside down. So when you start your dolphin with your feet against the wall, just feel for pressing into your forearms. Notice your core, right? So scoop your belly up. There tends to be a little kind of dunk into the low back. Pull your pubic bone towards your belly button when you're upside down. It's a hard thing to visualize. So you scoop your belly in. Beautiful. And then come down. There'll be another opportunity, don't worry. Step back into down dog on your mat. Left foot to front of mat, warrior one. So the front foot is straight, back foot 45 degrees, rise up. Put your hands on your hips to square off. Feel like you draw the right hip forwards, left hip back. Twisting warrior, take an inhale, reach the right arm straight up to ceiling, make a fist. Get this sense of lifting out of the right armpit. Twist through the mid-thoracic spine, float your right elbow onto left knee. Pause a moment. Pause when you're here, because what I'd love you to do is rather than just notice how you've curled in, lift your chest forwards, right? So you've got more rotation, and then you put your left hand on top of your right fist, let your head go. If it feels too much to have the warrior one foot position for the right foot, you can come onto the ball of the foot, but it's just a little more wobbly, so just be aware of that. You can twist more, but it's a little more unstable. Let's find this twist now. Let's take an inhale. Feel like the ribs lift away from the hips forwards. And as you exhale, just deposit your left shoulder blade a little further behind you. And then lean just a microscopic amount away from your left thigh. You're slightly allergic to it. Head softens again. Feel your left outside edge of hip fire up a little more. Come out of the pose. Both hands are going to frame the left foot, standing splits. On Monday, we did super slow motion standing splits. We don't have to quite do that, but really notice the flow up. Don't just fling your leg into spaces, right? The journey up teaches you a lot of stuff, just like the journey down does. Soften your belly, feel like you lengthen your chest across the left thigh. Let's twist this standing splits. Walk both your hands anti-clockwise, as if they're trying to get to 9 o'clock on the clock dial. So there's a particular reaching through the right fingertips, armpit, and then direct your energy to the big toe of your right foot. Lift it higher. Squeeze your buttocks on, both of them. De-rotate yourself, hands, fingertips on the floor in front of you. Float with complete control the right leg to the mat and step back into plank. Take a breath. Push into armpits, scoop the belly. As you exhale, lower your knees, but don't let them touch the mat. Hover them just above the floor. This is where you really notice your core. If it dips down and you're like, oh, my low back doesn't like this, pull your belly button up into the back body and press into your armpits. Take another breath. And then let, on an exhale, the knees lower. That feels nice. Lower your chest. Modified chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra. Scoop it out. Exhale, down dog. Right foot, warrior one, steps forward. Left foot turned out, 45 degrees. Inhale, come up. Feel the motion of your left hip drawing slightly forwards in space. Take an inhale, left arm reaches, extends really far up, make a fist. Twist through the middle area of your ribs to the right. Float your left elbow onto right thigh and just pause a moment while you reassess your left rib situation. Can you lengthen an inhale into it? Now put the right hand on top of the left fist. Push the two together and lean away from your right thigh. A V shape away from it. Let the head go. Notice your legs supporting you as you allow the upper body to twist and soften. Right shoulder, can you just let it, stop hunching it to your ear. Slide it like the mobile joint that it is behind you. More connection to the feet, notice them. Squeeze buttocks. Release, come out of it. Put both hands framing right foot with slow attention to detail. Standing splits, raise the left leg up. Feel like you're moving through treacle as you get it up. Like you're having to actually press the left leg through something viscous. Hang down, let the head, the back of your head soften, where all the crappy thoughts reside. Reach through the big toe pad of left foot. Start to clockwise rotate both hands to 3 o'clock. Particularly reach through the left fingertips, arcing space into left side of body. Let the head go again. Shake it out, flubber out the lips. Walk your hands back to frame your right foot. Float, no rush, no rush. Left leg back to mat. Land it, down dog. Take a huge breath in down dog. Just for a moment in down dog, let's do a little twist. Pick up your right hand off the floor. Take it underside of your body and grab your left shin or ankle. And then as you exhale, twist to pop your head through your left armpit. Draw the left hip back, feel for reaching to the tailbone. Release the right hand, place it on the mat, spread the fingers. Put weight into it, lift your left hand up, grab and wrap and reach to your right calf, ankle, and really twist. Feel like you pop your gaze out of your right armpit, like you go, hello, here I am. Come back, knees come down. Options. Forearm balance. You can do dolphin on the wall again, dolphin on the mat again with the leg lifted, or you turn around, you do forearm balance. Try it. We're going to go for forearm balance, and then you could play around with twisted roots in forearm balance. So let me just make sure that you can see a little higher up. So you might kick up, and then you find a little bit of steadiness, and you can do your interlace. You can still keep a toe on the wall. I want you to pull your belly in. And then you can swap to the other side. It's all a little bit scary. It's a little bit twisty and weird. Something to play around with if you want to play. If you want to stay on the mat, you do dolphin with a leg lifted for 5 to 8 breaths. And I know it's repetition, but it's all valuable. Have a little go. And if you just want to do forearm balance, plain vanilla, you do that. It's interesting when you hook your legs because you get a little panicked because you're like, oh my God, if I need to come out quickly, I'm a bit tied up in knots. And it's true, but you need to breathe. That's really good, Claire. Well done. I can't quite see Judith. Lucy, that's really lovely. Just find your breath. What you're doing there, Lucy, is really good because the way that you learn to find your balance point is to not always go for the wall, which I see you doing, Rich, really good. So you have the legs slightly off. So you're trying to find your balance. And actually, if you fall back down to the mat, it's almost better, right? Because you can learn then to not overshoot it on the wall. Because when you try and float off the wall, it's quite hard actually to get your balance. So that's a really good practice technique to do that. Very good, right. Let's come back to down dog. Let's do the last vignette. Hands on the mat. Step your left foot to front of mat for pyramid. So I'd like you to just have the front foot straight, back foot slightly turned out. Just come up to standing. You're going to need a cork block. I should have said this because we're going to do twisting triangle. So place the cork block to the inner edge of your left foot. I suggest high side. Just turn my screen down a bit because the more space you have to twist, the freer it feels, this pose. Hands on the hips, take an inhale, and then a beautiful long flat back, come halfway down. Draw the left hip back, right hip back in space. You already feel your sort of hamstring and your IT band. Place your right hand on the block and make sure it's stacked directly under your shoulder. So notice with your hand is not quite in the right spot, right? You're leaning on it, so it's stacking. With the left hip back, right hip down, inhale, float the left arm to ceiling and rotate. And at this point, you might think, oh, I could go a bit lower on the block, but don't go so far down that you can't feel the spread of the reach through the left fingertips. Let your head go. So working into lots of things here, there's a twist. There's an uncomfortable opening on the left outer edge of thigh. Breathe. And then notice your feet, notice the right foot, the back foot. Can you still feel it? Press into it and lift the quad muscles of both legs away from the kneecaps. So your legs are active. You think they're active, but are they? That sense of versions of yourself, which you think you are, but are you? Release the left hand down. Lower your right knee to the mat. Give it some additional padding. Let's do twisting lunge, moving into interlock. So the front left foot is in front. Back foot at right angles as well. The breath goes through the right armpit and you twist and hook your right elbow onto your left thigh. It's the same thing with the ribs. Lengthen them forwards and then open the chest. Here's your first option. Hands clasped, feels like twisting warrior one. Neck relaxes. Option 2, grab your right hand onto the leggings of your left thigh and take a half bind. This is kind of getting there. Otherwise, you might slide your right elbow, further across towards the front of the shin and actually put the right hand underneath the thigh. And you might be able to bind behind your back. Even if you don't quite get there, maybe you have a go. Claire's got an amazing strap configuration, which you can do. It's just really hard to get the ends. But once you get them, it feels good. Breathe. Let the neck soften. Feel for not pulling the belly in. Lengthen the pubic bone away from the belly button. And then release, come out of this. Both hands to the mat, step back into down dog. Take a full breath. Lift your tailbone, wrap your elbows towards each other. Step your right foot forwards for pyramid foot formation, block to inner edge of right foot. Come up to standing a moment and put your hands on your hips and draw the line forwards. Take an inhale. With a long flat back, come to halfway. Place your left hand on the block, stacked under shoulder, high or medium height. Lengthen forwards and then sweep on an exhale the right arm to ceiling. So your twist has length. Feel the outside edge of your right thigh open up and press more into your feet.
Lift both of the quad muscles off the kneecaps. Head softens. How much more can you lean back into the pose? Can you actually, if you really think about it, rotate through your spine and take your right arm behind you? There's always more space. We get blocks in our heads because the stories we tell ourselves are about how much we can manage and where we can go to physically. What happens after breath 3? Where do you go in the pose? Come out of the pose gently, bring the left knee to the mat, pat it out if you feel that's comfortable. You're in a low lunge position in right angles. Take an inhale, left arm reaches, twist. Float the left elbow onto right thigh. Head softens, top hand presses into fist, rotate and open up. Once you've settled, maybe you might slide this left elbow across the front of the knee, grab the leggings, take a half bind. This could be your halfway house. You need a lot of support from the legs, press into them. Option to slide your left arm, hand under the right thigh, and then grab it in a half bind with the right hand behind you. Let the head go, no neck. Instead, you need to press more into your feet, your thighs. This is interesting. Your inner thigh muscles need to squeeze towards each other, even though they're separated. Can you now lean back? Can you take the back of your head, your skull, and let it hang behind you? Come out of the twist gently. Hands to the mat. Step back into down dog. Take a breath. And then very slowly lower your knees to the mat. Here are your options. If you'd like to do another inversion, maybe you want to have a go at handstand. It's got nothing to do with twists particularly, but it's the thing about twists is they kind of create these new pathways in our body, like we've rinsed ourselves out. So you get this kind of fizz of energy, and it's really nice to invert after them, I think. If that's not for you, you might want to do something a little more gentle. You could do chest opener on the wall. So you do a warrior one about a foot away from the wall and open with your left arm behind you. 5 breaths, swivel around. So you're doing warrior one on the right side, right arm behind you. You might want to do that after you've done a handstand anyway. It's a really nice chest opener. If you're playing around with handstand, there are stages, right? Even putting your hands on the floor and tipping your weight into them is really good practice. So if I show you that from side on, you obviously would have a walk. Just lifting onto your tippy toes and putting weight into your hands is like, ooh, that's what it is. You might then play around with just bending the knee and kicking the leg up. So you've got this sort of play with your balance, right? So whatever you fancy. That's good. Just take the arm a little further behind, right? Yes. And then turn your chest to face your front right leg. And then if you want to add a neck stretch, Eddie, you can just tilt your head towards your left shoulder. Yes. And breathe. That's beautiful. If you're inverting, feel your breath, right? Don't lose it. And then slowly make this your last breath, wherever you are. Come out of the pose. And just come and sit up on your mats in a cross-legged position. And go right back to basics. This is a really nice thing to do. I'm just going to do a seated twist with an option for half lotus.
So listen up, position yourself so your left foot is in front of your right foot. If you are able to, and this, by the way, and I know, Lucy, you've had trouble with your knee on one side, that there's no kind of brownie points for being able to put your foot up on the thigh, right? But if it goes there comfortably and you don't have any knee discomfort, it's quite a nice option. Otherwise, the left foot is in front. Take a really big breath in, we'll rise up through the arms, and then turn your whole torso to the left, right? Take the right arm, brace it on top of the left thigh, and then your left fingertips come behind you. If you're in half lotus, you might be able to reach and grab the toe of your foot. And the reason that's quite nice is you can brace against it. Otherwise, your left hand fingertips is just pressing into the floor, and you might not have any lotus going on. You're just twisting out, but you're not using the neck. So neither position uses the neck. Just be in the twist for 5 clear breaths and feel what you can feel, right? Really notice the bodily sensations rather than going through the motions of the pose. I always think so often in twists, especially seated twists, you just kind of go, yeah, yeah, whatever. What does it feel like if you inhale and lift your diaphragm away from your belly button? And then as you exhale, if you just slide a little more softness into your left shoulder blade. The progression of the twist as you take the breaths. As you take your next inhale, come out slowly. Swap your legs. So this time your right leg will be in front of your left leg. So change the cross of your legs. If it feels comfortable to place then the right foot a little higher up, you could do that, totally optional. Both arms extend. Twist towards your right. Float the left hand down, either hold the thigh or put the back of the hand there. Right fingertips behind you, press into mat, or if you've got your foot up, they might grab the toe. These are all options. Find your breath. And then know that you're going to be here for these 5 breaths. What could you play around with? What micro adjustments can you make to feel a little more into the body, into the shapes that you're making? Because that's the whole point, right? What does it feel like for you inside? Not what does it look like? Where are you learning to find space? Where are you exploring bits that feel uncomfortable? How do you react? Can you do the up level, which is, can you still take a deep inhale and exhale? Can you be a little kinder to yourself? Come out of the pose gently and lie down on your backs. Come straight into Shavasana. Whatever version of Shavasana floats your boat, legs up the wall, splayed body parts, knees bent, maybe with a bolster. Make sure your shoulder blades are shuffled down the body, soften the jaw, the neckline. Get comfortable and close your eyes. And then just feel the release, right? We started on our backs. Notice how much more grounding is able to be kind of sourced now. How you can really feel the back body in the mat. How much more in body you're able to be. It's a really nice comparison to make. And you feel able to give yourself up to the support of the earth. As you lie here and notice your breathing, just read you a quote. Just let this kind of move inside of you. It's the friends who help you realign with your original mission and values that make a substantial difference in your life. Sometimes it just takes one conversation with someone who is radically authentic to reignite your inner fire and help you get back on the right path. Very slowly start to bring some movement into your fingers and your hands, your toes, your wrists, your ankles. And then reach above yourself and point your toes away from you and just feel for this exploration into your boundaries. So like move out of your external energetic boundaries. And then draw your knees into yourself, hug them in, a little roll side to side. Choose a side which you'd like to move on to. Extend the arm on that side and roll into a fetal position and just pause. Notice your breaths. Who are you? Who do you feel you want to be? Where is the path? Where is the clarity? Where is the journey? Very gently press yourself up to seated. Hands at prayer at the center of your chest. Take a really slow inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. And a super soft exhale. My soul honors your soul. Namaste. Brilliant, everyone. Well done. Gosh, it's raining.